Hey everyone, it's Blake. Welcome in to episode number 6 of our AEW 2022 save and TEW 2020. This is Road Rager. It is our special event for June, and as I said before, we're still trying to figure out the best way to sort of navigate trying to do these as Dynamite special events, but we got some really helpful comments on that from one of the previous videos, so we may try to tweak that a little bit to do these, as AEW does, and make them sort of Wednesday specials for Dynamite. But for now, we kind of set it up to be a Saturday event here, and so let's jump into it with a show that will have some pretty significant developments moving forward. But we start with the pre-show. Keith Lee and Swerve Strickland getting the win over Sydal Brothers, 701. Keith pins Mike 65. It's actually a pretty good match here, but that's why I enjoy this AEW series because you kind of look at the product and the different things, and we know there's so many great wrestlers, and that's going to help. And speaking of, we know these two are great wrestlers too. They've been in kind of singles matches, but we still have the option to sort of use them as a tag team. And again, this is where not everything's going to necessarily have a storyline attached to it. But I like having, that balance. Whereas, for some reason, I feel like in WWE, the series I'm doing on that one, I feel like there has to be more kind of storyline stuff attached to it based on how the product is and all that. But with this, I just like having sometimes just some quality matches, and that's what you get with this talented roster in AEW. So this is a nice one here, and it is Keith Lee, Swerve Strickland getting the win on the pre-show. All right, we jump into the main card, Road Rager. And we start off getting ready for what's going to be our first match, and it's going to be for the AEW Tag Team Championships. As Christian, backstage, we see getting Jurassic Express kind of ready for this big match, and he is just pushing it and pumping it and just pumping these guys up so much, talking about how they are ready. And he knows Jungle Boy is ready after, the match he put him in against Brian Cage this past week. And he says that's exactly what Jungle Boy needed, a good, hard-fought match to get him prepared for the strength of Powerhouse Hobbs and the sort of do anything necessary Ricky Starks. So Christian really just sort of going over the top here and his confidence in his team winning. And that's when he says, I know my team's going to win because I know Jungle Boy, I know Luchasaurus, and I know they understand the importance of winning this match and keeping the tag team championships. It's all they have. And he just kind of continues to go on and on here until finally, Jungle Boy just kind of taps him on the shoulder and says, okay, we got to go have our match now. So Christian just, again, going kind of over the top here with this, but a 57 for this one. And that transitions into our video package looking at Team Taz's path to this championship match. As we know, Ricky Starks and Powerhouse Hobbs come through the Eliminator Series. And, those 4 teams we had in there, they get the win in the final against the Lucha Brothers with a little help from Andrade and Rush. And so that is how they got to this point, and that is our setup. 63 for this segment, and we are ready for our AEW World Tag Team Championship match. Jurassic Express defends against Team Taz. And we have new AEW World Tag Team Champions, as it is Ricky Starks and Powerhouse Hobbs getting the win over Jurassic Express. Starks with the pin on Jungle Boy, and that is how we crown a new World Tag Team Champions here. And so a nice match, 64 overall, good stuff from these 4. And, again, we had kind of decided, planning this out, this was something we were going to do, and, this felt like the right place to do it at Road Rager. And as you'll see, there's a lot more to come with stories on both sides, but this was just something that we had in the works, and to get to some of the stories we wanted to tell, we needed a title change here. And I think that Team Taz is going to fit very well into some of the things we're going to be doing. So a big win for Ricky Starks, Powerhouse Hobbs. Starks, now an FTW champion and an AEW World Tag Team champion, and they are your new champions. And then, I know you guys knew this was going to come at some point. And it was a matter of, was AEW going to beat me to this, or was I going to beat them to it? Because I was wondering, it took them a long time to get to sort of the point that they, actually got to here recently. But after the match, it is Christian helping Jungle Boy to his feet. Luchasaurus is down and out on the outside after being taken out by Powerhouse Hobbs during the match. And then that is where Christian makes the turn and brutally attacks Jungle Boy to finally set in motion. This is something that I know everyone has known is coming at some point, but Christian finally does it. He turns on Jungle Boy, and now we kind of get to go down the road that, again, I know everyone knew we were going to get to. It was just, for me, I was like, well, am I going to beat AEW to this? Are they going to beat me to it? And so I could have done this on the very first episode, but just decided to hold it off to our tag team championship match here at Road Rager. So Christian makes his official turn. We had to make that split at some point. This was the time to do it. 64 on the split. We are going to turn Christian heel here, and the turn is a complete success. So that will set in motion another big story coming out of our tag team title change with new champions and what's next now for Jungle Boy after being attacked by his former friend, Christian Cage. All right, and then it is Mercedes Martinez coming out to challenge Chris Statlander, which is awful convenient for Mercedes after attacking Statlander on Rampage, and that is where we thought we'd get the match, but it was more of a setup and attack for Mercedes Martinez. But we're going to get it here because she comes out, makes the challenge to Statlander, seemingly wondering if she's actually going to make it. And here comes Statlander, who does show up, and she is ready for a fight. So we have this match, and it is official. A new match added to our Road Rager card here, 49 overall, and in a 54 match, so not bad. But clearly no chemistry here between these two. I was curious. I mean, I don't know why I thought these two may have good chemistry. Just kind of, they've got good size, just kind of the way they wrestle. I don't know. I just thought maybe they'd have some nice chemistry here. They do not. So we will not be doing any long-term feuds with these two in the future. But it is Statlander getting the win over Mercedes Martinez, 9:33. And again, I thought this would be kind of useful to set this up over the past couple weeks. We do have some plans for Statlander. So this was kind of one of those things where, all right, let's give her a nice little challenge here early on. And she overcomes that challenge by beating Mercedes Martinez here at Road Rager. So 54 here for this one. And we go next to William Regal, who is in the back. And he says that someone has signed a contract to fight Bryan Danielson. Regal says he always has an open contract for the Blackpool Combat Club because, as he said before, they are always ready for a fight anytime, anywhere. And since Jon Moxley and Wheeler Yuta had a big fight on Dynamite in their win over the Young Bucks, Bryan Danielson has decided he wants to get him, some action here at Road Rager. And so it is set up here to where Regal says, I don't know who signed the contract, but I know someone has. I've been informed that they have. And so we're going to go out to the ring and we're going to wait and see who has signed the contract to fight Bryan Danielson. So a 72 here for this one. And then as they go out and they await the person that will face Bryan Danielson here at Road Rager, here comes Jake Roberts, and he brings out Lance Archer, and Archer says he's officially looking for a fight. And so that is your setup here. We are going to have Bryan Danielson versus Lance Archer, 65 for this segment. Now, we are going to turn Jake here because for some reason, Jake was listed as a babyface while Archer is a heel, and that's one of the things I noticed kind of going through that. I meticulously go through this roster, and going through this one was tough because it's so big, but I try to catch all that before I put some of these people on TV because I know you'll get penalized for it if you don't. And this was one where I was like, wait a second, Jake's a babyface here, and Archer's a heel, so we're going to go ahead and just switch Jake as a heel here, as that'll help moving forward. Otherwise, I think you do get penalized if you have like a babyface manager or vice versa and like a heel client or something. So, but we are set up here for a big match. Bryan Danielson versus Lance Archer. Let's see what we get from this one. And wow, and an 85 here. So a great match. It is Bryan Danielson getting the win over Lance Archer, 14-11. So what a match here. 85 between these two. Danielson, fantastic in the ring. Lance Archer benefiting from being in amazing form, so that helps here. An 85, and we did do Steal the Show, so we had these two go all out for a great match. Maybe we go a little bit shorter. Perhaps it gets a little bit better of a number. I don't know if Archer, maybe the stamina, perhaps. I didn't think about that, but yeah, that's kind of what I figured. So we could have made this a little bit shorter, and I think maybe we would have even hit the 90 range if we had done that. So, but nonetheless, a great match here at Road Rager, and it's Danielson getting the win over Lance Archer. And then afterwards, it is Danielson victorious, and here comes Adam Cole, who stands on the stage, and it is Cole staring down Danielson in the ring. And as you remember, if you go back to Dynamite, that is where, Cole was kind of giving his big speech, and in came Regal and Danielson, and said, if you really want to be elite, you know what you have to do. And well, now we have Cole coming out, staring down Danielson from the stage. And what could that mean? Moving forward, we will find out, because clearly Adam Cole has something on his mind here involving Bryan Danielson. So an 80 here for this segment. Good segment. And then we had a segment with Tony Schiavone interviewing Miro, and it is Miro saying that, he is the Redeemer, and that his road to redemption has officially begun. And Miro, just in his, menacing sort of voice here, he has pretty much made it clear since he came back that he wanted to actually do something here. He wants to redeem himself. He's going to get back to the top of AEW and take back what is his, and he's going to go through Orange Cassidy now after he attacked him here recently. So 74, great promo from Miro, and it is set. Miro versus Orange Cassidy here at Road Rager, and in another pretty good match here, 79 overall for this one. It is Miro getting the win over Orange Cassidy, 10:08. The game over does it. And, this was kind of set up, as we said. We've got a pretty interesting story arc coming for Miro, and having him sort of come back and say he's tired of sitting around. He's tired of playing around. And this was that setup to basically have him come out and not completely destroy Orange Cassidy, but really push Miro as this, sort of unstoppable giant here. And that's what we have here in this one. So a good match, 79 overall for this one. Miro getting the win and perhaps continuing his path to redemption. And then backstage, it is Britt Baker expressing her confidence in Jamie Hayter, who's going to be in action here tonight at Road Rager. But as we know, the bigger match for Jamie Hayter is going to be next week on Dynamite, as it was made official that just as Baker thought that she was going to get, her rematch for the AEW Women's Championship against Thunder Rosa, it's actually going to be Jamie Hayter getting a shot at the women's title. And so, Tony Schiavone catches up with him and says, hey, I've got to ask, what is your mindset now? We talked about this last week. I told you that I had gotten word that Tony Khan had made this match official with Jamie Hayter and Thunder Rosa. And that's when Baker, just expresses her confidence in Jamie Hayter. She knows that Jamie Hayter has what it takes to beat Thunder Rosa for the AEW Women's Championship. And then, Baker's just kind of really promoting Hayter here. And that's when Schiavone asks, well, what happens if Jamie Hayter wins the title? And that's where Baker gets a little flustered. She's just, she doesn't really know what to say. And she's like, I don't have anything to say about that right now, Tony. I'm not going to fall for you trying to push, dissension here between us. We'll talk about that later on. And then Baker just kind of grabs Hayter and Rebel, and they walk off. So Schiavone, sort of playing the instigator here. What happens if Hayter becomes the AEW Women's Champion? What does that mean for Britt Baker? We'll see. But kind of Schiavone kind of stirring the shit here between this duo here of Britt Baker and Jamie Hayter. 58 for this one. And speaking of Jamie Hayter, as I said, she would be in action, and she is getting the win over Anna Jay. 9:38 for this one, 55 overall, decent match. This is actually a rematch, although you guys haven't seen it on any of the matches that we've done in our series, because this is one I had in our AEW Dark tapings for June, which, as I said, I taped 4 episodes at a time, so I did all those in week 1, and that actually works out great, because I don't even have to think about AEW Dark now. But when I looked back at it, I looked at the match history, I was like, have we had this match before? I was like, for some reason, I think we have, and yeah, it actually was on AEW Dark. But we have it here on Road Rager, and it does much better, actually, than one we had on Dark. I think it was like a mid-40s. So Jamie Hayter gets the win here over Anna Jay, heading into her championship match against Thunder Rosa on Dynamite. And then we get the video package looking at the rise of Wardlow, who is going to challenge Scorpio Sky for the TNT Championship. And we look at all the things that have led to this point for Wardlow. We had that sit-down interview with Wardlow and Jim Ross. Wardlow just explaining, his goal to become the TNT champion and how from day one, he understood the value of being the TNT champion. He knew that all roads for him led to being, the champion in AEW. And he says the TNT title is that first stop for him, that first big achievement that he can put, on his list here. And so just looking at all the things Wardlow's gone through to get to this point, and now it is set up. A nice rating here, 69. Wardlow challenges Scorpio Sky for the TNT Championship. Who comes out with the belt? And we have a new TNT champion, as I think a lot of you probably expected. Wardlow gets the win over Scorpio Sky, only goes 823. The Splash Mountain Powerbomb does it, and Wardlow takes care of business, and he is the new TNT champion. Decent match here, 64 for this one. Look, I'll just be honest with you. Like this whole, in reality, the whole Scorpio Sky, Sammy Guevara stuff, I like Scorpio Sky, but man, for some reason, like I was just thinking, I've got to get this TNT title away from this whole deal. Like we got to get it away from Scorpio Sky. We got to keep it away from Sammy Guevara. This is just a personal preference, but this is just, I was like, we got to get to Wardlow and we got to get there quick. And this was kind of our setup. You saw basically from the very first episode, we set up the official match for Road Rager, Wardlow versus Scorpio Sky. And, there was never a doubt in my mind that I was going to change anything about this. Wardlow getting the win, becoming the champion. And actually, I think, Scorpio Sky is being penalized too for declining physical ability. I didn't even realize that, but that is something that I kind of I thought was kind of interesting. So there you go, new champion. I think a lot of you guys watching this save probably expected that because we really haven't done a whole lot with Scorpio Sky as TNT champion through a couple weeks, but everything has been about Wardlow, and now it will definitely be about Wardlow as he is our new TNT champion, and that's going to open up, I think, a lot of interesting possibilities, which you will see here moving forward in the series. So a new champion, actually, we've got two new champions tonight, right? We've got new tag champions, we've got a new TNT champion, and now we'll see what's next, and that is when we go backstage, where it is Chris Jericho, who says that he is going to send Jake Hager to take out Eddie Kingston. We've had this back and forth between Kingston saying that he, for Jericho to send him someone else. He's already beaten Daniel Garcia. He's ready. Who else do you want to send me, Jericho? I'm going to basically destroy the Jericho Appreciation Society. And Jericho saying that he's going to send, Hager to take out Kingston. And then, Jericho kind of teases having the match tonight before he says, I'm just kidding. We're not having this match tonight. We'll let you know on our terms when this match is going to take place. And that's when you have Jericho, grabbing Hager and saying, we're headed out. We're not dealing with this stuff tonight. You guys can hang around, do whatever you want, Eddie Kingston. You can stay here if you want, wherever you are. We're headed out to enjoy ourselves. So Jericho kind of playing the heel here, 68 for this one. And then as they are walking off here, so Jericho and Hager exiting the interview area, here comes CM Punk. And we have Jericho and Hager kind of giving a look here at CM Punk, as Punk just kind of staring down Jericho. Hager just kind of there as the muscle, and they, kind of teasing some tension there between this group here. But Jericho and Hager just walk off as they sort of laugh at Punk. And so Punk kind of entering the interview area here, gets a 73 for this one. So these two get a little interesting dynamic there. But then we have a promo here for CM Punk, who's getting ready for our main event, where it is going to be CM Punk and FTR taking on the House of Black. Punk says he has a trust problem, and that, everyone keeps telling him, well, what if it's not Malachi Black? What if he's the one that actually did not attack you, even though a lot of signs have point to it? And that's when Punk says that's his point. Everything thus far has pointed to Malachi Black. And he says he has nothing else. He has nothing to go on. All he can do is go off of what he has right now. And what he does know is that the light's going out, all this other stuff, that is Malachi Black. And, Punk says, I just don't trust anyone. These two guys beside me are about the only people that I trust. So he says, maybe I am wrong. Maybe it's not Malachi Black. But Punk says he's going to get to the bottom of it, and the only way he knows how is to basically, beat it out of everyone that he thinks may be responsible for what happened. So he's going to send a message to Malachi Black and everyone else. He knows he's the target. He's the champion, but he's going to put a stop to it through physical violence here of taking out anyone kind of in his way. So that is your setup here for our championship. Not our championship match, but this could be a championship match potentially, as that is what's going to be on the line, as Malachi Black sort of put that proposition on the last episode where it was set up to where Malachi Black said if House of Black wins, he wants a shot at CM Punk for the AEW World Championship. Is he going to get it? Here we go, our main event of Road Rager, CM Punk, FTR versus the House of Black, and Malachi Black is not going to get his championship match from this because it is CM Punk and FTR getting the win over the House of Black. Punk pins Buddy Matthews with the go to sleep 75, so not a bad match here. Certainly not Danielson Archer, but not a bad match. And again, I kind of knew that going in. This wasn't going to hit like a 90 or anything, just kind of based on the overness, popularity, some of the stuff of the people involved, on the House of Black side. But still, this is a good match. I mean, CM Punk with a 93 in-ring performance here. Great stuff. And we did set this up as a wild brawl because, given the setup, that's what you expect. And because we have to have the 3 match aims. So we had to do that here. But it is CM Punk and FTR getting the win. So Malachi Black wanted this to kind of be the thing that got him a shot at the title. Not happening because they lose the match. So perhaps another route for the top suspect in CM Punk's mind, Malachi Black. It will not come from this match as it is Punk getting the win. So a triumphant CM Punk and FTR. And then after the match, as we see CM Punk sort of, healing his wounds here from this big brawl against the House of Black. And then in a 100, so a perfect segment here for this one, we see a video playing on the screen. And it is just sort of a blank video that only has audio here. And we hear a voice talking, and it's very clear that this voice is Chris Jericho. And Jericho is talking to someone, which we are led to believe is Jake Hager. And it is Chris Jericho, who all of a sudden just starts talking about CM Punk, saying, can you believe that idiot CM Punk? All this stuff over the past couple weeks. He thinks he's, some big sleuth here, figuring out this big mystery. And that's when Jericho says, what an idiot, right? And he says he actually thinks it's Malachi Black who attacked him. And that's when Jericho kind of, again, pauses a little bit. We know he's talking to someone, and he says, but we know the truth. Punk goes out. He's always running his mouth, all this other stuff. The fact is, Punk got what he had coming to him. And he says, I'm going to have fun sort of sitting back and watching him go through all of this, thinking that he's finally figured out this big mystery. When you and I, Jake, know what happened out there. And at some point, we will let everyone know what happened to CM Punk. So that's how we go off, finish up Road Rager here with this mysterious audio, which we don't know how this got transferred to the screen. We don't know where this, is coming from at the moment. We are led to believe this is Jericho and Hager talking after they just had this little brush in the back with CM Punk. But we don't know all the details, and so we will have to wait to find out. But CM Punk, just kind of looking at the screen, and everyone in the crowd kind of oohing and ahhing, wondering, does this mean what we think it means? We will find out moving forward. So, and we get an 85, so a great show here for this one. We increase our popularity in 11 regions, and this one really delivered. I mean, look, we put the Danielson Archer match on here as, just to add another, add some beef to this card, because we needed to add a few more matches, as I said. But I mean, this was a good one. We finish off with a great segment here, a perfect segment, kind of teasing what's next for CM Punk. And now we have some mystery surrounding, Chris Jericho, and there's a lot going on here. But a good main event. We also have two new champions, as we know, new tag champions, new TNT champion. So a great show, 85 overall, and we will kind of make some speeches here, and we will give some props to Wardlow for winning the championship. We will give him some praise for, well, we're just going to tell Wardlow that he's awesome. How about that? And then we will give Bryan Danielson some praise because, as we know, Bryan Danielson, great performance here. And we will also give our friend, let's give CM Punk a little praise here for what he's done as well. Praise him for a great performance. So there are speeches. Wardlow's pleased, Danielson's pleased, Punk's pleased. All right, let's see what we need to get to before we wrap up this episode. All right, so Road Rager was excellent. We struck gold. That's what we do. That's what we try to do. So we strike gold. We got some mail here. Okay, Dax Hartwood. Oh, boy. Matt Sydal is clumsy. Cut him loose before he hurts someone. Wow, Dax just going all in here on Matt Sydal. So no more pre-show matches, perhaps, for our friend Matt there. So that's good to know. And then Christian Cage has an opinion, and it is Jamie Hayter is charismatic and see the kid doing well in the future. So, all right. Have we already looked at that one? I don't remember. Maybe we did. Maybe actually we may have looked at that one already. So even if we did, there's some more props for Jamie Hayter. Maybe it's just the same one. So Road Rager, 1.22. We did put this on TBS. So it gets a nice rating on television, a big bump there. So that was Road Rager, and I hope you enjoyed. We had some developments coming out of it. Certainly new champions, multiple new champions, and more big teases and sort of the mystery surrounding the attack on CM Punk. What does it have to do with Chris Jericho? We will see in the next episode of our series. So, as always, be sure to like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. And again, as I mentioned in other videos that you will see here over the next week, my schedule is going to be kind of a little all over the place the next week or so. So I'm going to spread out the videos a little bit more. I know the past couple weeks I've just tried to go, back to back, put out a video basically every Monday through Thursday, but I'm kind of having to spread them out a little bit over the next week because my schedule is going to be a little bit more busy. So you won't have as many videos, but as I'm recording this one, I have 3 recorded now at this point. So I will spread these out a little bit over the next week. So there you go. Be sure to hit that subscribe button. Hope you're enjoying the AEW series here. I always say kind of the early episodes can be a little bit of a slow build because we're trying to set up some big storylines that we're going to have in motion. But hopefully you guys are enjoying it thus far, and a lot more things to come here as we kind of settle into our series here and kind of have a much better feel of where things stand for AEW and all that. So as always, again, be sure to hit that subscribe button and check out the WWE 2021 series that we have. That is we're 75 episodes into that one. Lots of stuff. A big Mae Young Classic. Some big events coming out of that one for sure. One of our biggest yet in the series. So be sure to go give that series a try if you haven't yet. If you enjoy current wrestling, that's one I think that you would have a lot of fun with. So, but on the next episode of our AEW series, it will be Dynamite and Rampage for June Week 4.